One of the things that's angered me the most while making this kind of content and covering the insanity that's been happening with payment processors in this space is watching a medium of art that I truly love and care about, that has carried me through so many dark times in my life, simply become eroded away due to a bunch of Karens and also massive businesses and payment processors deciding what you can and cannot do with your money and what games you can and cannot purchase with your money. Instead of just doing their job of processing the payment, these companies like Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and etc., and many merchant banks are now trying to control what you can buy with your money, which you can then play as a video game. And the worst part about all of this is they are now trying to control Steam, with PayPal removing almost 90% of all the currencies from Steam's store, and Valve having to sadly bend the knee to these payment processors. What's even worse is that Visa and MasterCard had pressured Valve so much that Valve created a brand new rule in order to stop payment processors from removing those merchant banks and stopping all their transactions in their storefront. Effectively, Valve bending the knee to payment processors. This is how big this is. We're not talking about a couple of gooner games on Steam that were bad and had to get taken down because Karens in Australia had a hissy fit. No, we're talking about massive billion and trillion dollar corporations that are walking around and now controlling everything that you can and cannot buy, and pushing down the actual places where you buy video games and controlling the content that you can consume. And making these kinds of videos and defending the ability for game creators to make their own kind of content available for you as a consumer has caused people to call me all kinds of things, especially the people that don't like me, calling me a gooner, saying that, oh, it's just bad games, Alex. Why do you care? Why would you have a problem with it unless you were actually that kind of person in the first place, trying to just misjudge my character entirely? When in reality, what all I want is a free market away from actual companies and corporations trying to censor what you can and cannot play that is legal in the good old United States of America, baby, to play on your computer or buy from Steam. And besides all of that happening, it turns out that these payment processors do not care anymore. They used to be doing it in the back end, using groups like Collective Shot as a red herring for everybody to get mad at about, and then go through and work out that way, when now they've just taken the entire mask off. They literally do not care anymore, because over the weekend, this was found on LinkedIn, and it has to do with Visa wanting to completely integrate themselves into video games. No, I'm not kidding. According to a post by Yeet, Visa appears to be making bigger moves into the world of gaming after the Collective Shout influence allegations, listing a new role called Director of Global Gaming Partnerships, described as shaping culture and reimagining how payments can influence the future of gaming. Right here, right now, anyone that's been doubting me the entire time, I need you to finally wake up. This isn't about the gooner games on Steam. This isn't about the bad games showing up. This is not an entire thing of making it political. This is a literal payment processor trying to integrate themselves into the gaming space to make things what they consider to be better, even though all we've noticed right now is that what they want to do is censor anything that is going to impact their brand negatively. We've talked about all their vague rules of actually buying content or purchasing products that are going to be negatively impacting their brand, even though their entire job as a brand and company is to simply process the payment. There is no reason for them to have a brand in the first place, but they want to integrate themselves further. And yes, I found the post on LinkedIn, and yes, it's real. And when you read it and you see it, you're going to lose your mind. Alfie Brody, the vice president of global sponsorships at Visa, posted this on LinkedIn. Gaming is no longer just play. It's culture, community, and commerce. Gen Z and Gen Alpha spend more time gaming than any other media. At Visa, our mission is to uplift everyone, everywhere, by being the best way to pay and be paid. Now we're bringing that purpose into the gaming ecosystem. As Director, Global Gaming Partnerships, you'll lead the charge in building transformative collaborations with publishers, platforms, leagues, and creators, reimagining how payments power the future of play. This role is about more than partnerships. It's about building global strategies that unlock new opportunities for players and partners alike, driving innovation where gaming and commerce collide, championing economic empowerment in one of the fastest growing cultural movements on the planet. If you're passionate about gaming, inspired by culture, and you're ready to make an impact on a global stage, we want you on our team. That's right, they want to talk about building collaborative and transformative partnerships, not only with game stores like Steam, but also with actual creators and publishers in the gaming space. That means one thing and one thing only. They want to control what is actually being made in video games. We're not talking about them going around and being like, hey, do you want to pay the microtransaction for your video game? You sure do want to use Visa, you know what I'm saying? No, what they want to do is be the de facto actual thing that you use when you're making that purchasable payment. And they want to force publishers, developers, storefronts, and anything else to use those rules that they've applied vaguely in order for those companies to use them and say, hey, we have all this money that you want to transact with us, that you want to get from your customers. You have to use us. You have to abide by our rules. And if the content that we do not like is on that store page, we will contact your merchant banks and have them remove the fact that you can use them and not process any payments whatsoever. This isn't about being collaborative. This is about the fact that right now video games are still, in my opinion, the wild west of content, and it has not been desaturized and brought down, even though anybody in the gaming space can say, why does every game play the same? Well, right now it's going to get even worse because it isn't about Gooner games anymore. We've seen groups like Collective Shout go after mature rated games. We've seen it happen in the past consistently with Jack Thompson and Anita Sarkeesian, and now it's happening again, but on a much grander scale. Now we have payment processors trying to make positions to go ahead and interject themselves into the gaming space forcefully in order to control the content and games that you can play, because they want to make sure that what you're playing is safe for their brand to process that payment. And the funniest part about all of that is, if you want to see the job description, here's even more evidence about what they really want to do. The global video game industry is experiencing explosive growth and has become a dominant force in entertainment, culture, and commerce, driven by the deep engagement of Gen Z and Gen Alpha, who spend more time gaming than on any other media. These digital native generations see gaming not just as play, but as social connection, creative expression, and identity. As a result, brands that want to reach and remain relevant with these highly influential audiences must authentically engage within gaming ecosystems, from esports sponsorships to in-game activations and creator partnerships. Gaming offers brands unparalleled opportunities to build cultural relevance and long-term loyalty. And at the time of this recording, the actual salary for that job is in fact $169,000 per year to $245,000 per year. When you see that kind of job description, when you hear that kind of actual salary for that job, what that tells me is one thing only. They want to make sure they are integrating themselves into gaming culture. And we see what happens when they integrate themselves into video games now, don't we, everyone? We see Valve having to bend the knee. We see itch.io having to remove almost all NSFW content. We see all these companies and groups like Collective Shout run around and start trying to placate to these brands and these payment processors to remove content that they don't feel is appropriate for them. Seeing the fact that Steam is the one place I can buy any game from any publisher and any developer is a great thing. Having these monolithic payment processing corporations that control all of our money apparently and are nothing but complete vipers and snakes in an actual pit of depravity is truly wild to see, because Visa is also the same company who has had massive collaborations and works with a company like Roblox consistently. Boy, haven't we talked about Roblox before in this video and these content series? I think we have. In fact, we've talked about Roblox because they have done absolutely nothing to protect the actual children who are in literal, actual physical danger in their real life, simply because Roblox is a breeding ground for actual predators in their gaming space. And they talk about Gen Alpha and Gen Z as a type of people who play games more often as a platform. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? reason, Roblox is that platform. You see, the difference is Roblox has placated to Visa and to MasterCard and to PayPal, and they're playing ball. The difference is Valve has done nothing of those things. So what happened instead? They're trying to force Valve and force Steam into doing what they want to do for their kind of brand. The problem is Roblox is so big and people aren't really understanding the actual impacts of what's going on, that people just see Roblox as, hey, that's just a silly video game my kids play. They don't realize the potential harm and negative impact on that child's life in actual life, not just a video game, because of what's happening in that platform of video games. And that's what Visa wants to do. They want to brush everything aside. Your actual real life ability to be harmed is not their fucking concern. What is their concern though is they want to maximize the activations of what they can do. And if companies like itch.io and Valve don't play ball, they'll call those merchant banks. They'll hang them out to dry, and they'll try to control everything they possibly can for Valve to play ball with what they feel is appropriate, and then that way they can control the actual content being put out. They don't care about your safety. They don't care about your future. They don't care about anything. All they care about is when you swipe that card, the logo says the one that they work for. That's all that they care about. And they care about getting that sweet little percentage off of every transaction. They just don't want to be associated with all the naughty games on Steam. And that's a problem for them. And the crazier part is that's the big problem. They care more about their brand identity and what their actual payment processing is associated with than they care about actual children being impacted negatively in the space of the platform they support the most. But it turns out that Visa's mask may have slipped too far, because according to Yeet recently, here's what happened. Visa has now deleted their Director of Global Gaming Partnership LinkedIn job posting and all posts related to it. The postings listed that Visa was looking to reimagine how payment can power the future of play. So it turns out Visa realized what they were doing was far too much too quickly, and the backlash for what they were trying to post definitely caught a lot of attention for so many people. The problem is them deleting the posting does not mean that the job listing is gone. All that means is they're going back to being more crafty about how they approach this in the first place. They're going to go back to their corporate boardroom and figure out ways of twisting the actual narrative, figuring out other ways of actually providing you the information, so that way you feel more comfortable swallowing that jagged little pill as it goes down your throat, and you go ahead and accept anything that they want to put out, because they're trying to do everything they can to control you, to make you use their brand, to make you go ahead and keep processing those payments. But they want to be able to control how you do it, so that way you continually have those quote activations over and over again. The mask slipped too far for Visa and MasterCard and so many others now, and it's going to keep slipping more and more. And I keep making these videos to wake people up. This is about every single piece of content, every single game that will soon have to go through some weird committee of having their own ethics and morals being placed upon a massive corporation, whether or not you can buy the product that you want to buy, even though you're a grown full-ass adult and you're the one who has the money that they're choosing to block what you can and cannot do it with. We saw it happen with PayPal when they denied payment for a game developer that made an NSFW game, holding $80,000 ransom and not providing it back out. We've seen it happen with the UK, how they're now trying to require online identification, and how it's impacting companies like Microsoft, Valve, and etc., with everybody else trying to figure out a way around what's going on. This is more about control over you as an actual user and customer than it is about actually trying to provide a proper safe space for kids and even for internet users. And if you think this is just me putting on a tinfoil hat, here in fact is Alfie Brody on LinkedIn celebrating an actual hiring on IGN. Here's the post from LinkedIn with Alfie Brody commenting on IGN's post about Gail Hamrick, the VP of Human Resources for IGN, saying, "Congrats, Gail. This isn't him trying to be nice. This isn't him trying to be like, yay, somebody I know personally has gotten a job. I'm so happy." No, this is what we call inside the business of networking, bringing each other together. And even scarier is the part that they're celebrating someone getting into HR of a massive media conglomeration like IGN. You know that website that basically everybody goes to or used to go to when they talk about video game news? That's exactly what they want to do. Not only now are they trying to control the actual payment processors, but you can bet your sweet bippy at some point they're going to start impacting the actual news outlet themselves and what they can and cannot discuss. And that's going to be even crazier. If you think holding your payments is a problem, wait until they get control of the actual media and start trying to feed you the information that they think is appropriate for you. Where's my tinfoil hat, baby? But remember, the theme of this channel is one thing and one thing only. It always gets worse, because the UK yesterday made this post on their gov.uk website. Press release. Online safety laws to strengthen to protect people from all ages from devastating content. Vulnerable people across the UK will be shielded from the most dangerous content online, as new laws are set to be introduced to prevent devastating material from reaching people of all ages. With the Technology Secretary Liz Kendall saying this government is determined to keep people safe online. Vile content that promotes continues to be pushed on social media and can mean potentially heart-wrenching consequences for families across the country. Our enhanced protections will make clear to social media companies that taking immediate steps to keep users safe from toxic material that could be the difference between life and death is not an option, but the law. And we've seen how far-reaching the UK wants to actually go, with them trying to go ahead and actually fine 4chan, a US-based website, even though that is the wrong website to try and go after, and those websites now launching lawsuits against the UK. And the fact that so many other game companies themselves are now going through and trying to abide by UK law. Companies like Valve, like Xbox, and etc. have already put in place that are needed in order to keep this thing moving. Valve bending the knee, Xbox bending the knee, and also Discord and so many others. This is a massive problem. This is all about control. In my wild, wacky head, I for some reason feel like the payment processors and the actual governments are working in cahoots, touching tips together in order to make this thing go faster or get approved much quicker or try to infiltrate even more spaces that people have freedoms in, and it's going to get even worse. But unlike what we see on this channel consistently, it turns out that there may be some things happening on the horizon, not only in Australia, but also the UK. Aeromancer on Twitter posted this: "Attention Britain, the UK now has a petition to stop censorship of legal games and media by companies like MasterCard and Visa. This follows petitions for Canada and Australia, all of which are available to sign below, links in replies." Chibi Reviews, in fact, also posted this: "Important censorship news. Australia has an official parliament petition, EN 7799, that Australians can sign to combat payment processors like Visa and MasterCard. This is the time for all Australians to fight for your freedom and to not be censored." I want to make one thing and one thing clear. If you are a UK citizen, if you are an Aussie citizen, I'm going to post the links to these petitions in the pinned comment down below. Click those links, sign the petition to stop companies like Visa and MasterCard from trying to control what you can and cannot buy that is legal to purchase in your country, as these companies are controlling not only the content that you can view, but also the payments you can make and also the content you can actually create, because they want to have their dirty little fingers and provide what you can do with their morality as a company for their brand's sake and stop whatever they feel is inappropriate to consume, purchase, or create. This is an artistic medium that should be allowed to have whatever it needs to be, and we had the proper ratings already to determine whether or not a product is approachable and available for the right age demographic. So this entire overstepping nanny state needs to stop. The fact that the UK and Australia and so many other countries and even Visa and MasterCard are trying to implement their beliefs and their moralities onto you is a massive problem, and they're only doing it to try and go ahead and control the actual content, so that way they can feel safe with you processing that payment, and nannies like Collective Shout will stop sending them emails. All of this for a couple of microtransactions that they get every single day. Isn't that crazy? It's kind of crazy. But you know what? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section down below. Did you go ahead and sign the petition if you're part of those countries? I hope you did. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, my hot takes in the gaming industry, and this entire thing that's unfolding every single week, subscribe to the channel. We've already broken 92,000 subs, and we're on our way to 93K as well. If you want Discord access and emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Show up Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, as 800 to 900 people insult me with AITTS while I wear a banana suit and dance for them. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!